Hello, everybody. It's Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com, and I am here at Knack DIY Studio here in Raleigh, North Carolina with Dina.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes.
Last week was spring break for me, and we went on a trip to DC over the weekend, and I'm completely discombobulated.
Yes, I'm off on Mondays, so today's my Monday.
So see, there you go. So she's here just for you guys. How about that? So if you pop in, go ahead and say hi in the chat. We would love to see you in there. And so I want to talk for just a second about this crafts and coffee and what it is. So it's a little experiment that I'm running on my channel. If you saw the last one that I did with Seamstress, you kind of know that Seamstress and I met in a Facebook group. We both have YouTube channels, and she's in Germany and I'm in the US, and we just thought it would be fun to kind of hang out. She'd never done paper bead rolling, so I sent her some stuff and we hung out on a live on her channel, and we had so much fun we decided we would try it again. So I decided to make it into a regular series and see how you guys like it. So if you like getting to know different crafters like Dina here, and seeing paper bead rolling, let me know in the comments that you like the Crafts and Coffee series, and we'll keep doing it. We'll just see how it goes, and maybe once a month. I do have another one scheduled for next week, and since they're all going to be live, there's not going to be like a regular day to it, because it's just going to depend on availability. So definitely pop in the chat, say hello, let us know you're here. And so let me introduce Dina. So this is Dina, and we met recently.
Yes.
Even though we both live in Raleigh. Raleigh's pretty big, but we are in an entrepreneur group together for women called Ven Raleigh.
Yep.
And I think Dina is fascinating because I'm going to make her tell us her story. So before we start bead rolling, she's never bead rolled before, you guys. She's never done paper bead rolling.
Nope.
But when you find out what her business is, you're going to be like, what? You've never done paper bead rolling? So I'm going to let her tell us what her business is first, and then we're going to switch over and we're going to start bead rolling and chatting. So go ahead and give us the scoop on Knack.
Awesome. In all fairness, I have pinned a bunch of bead rolling things. I just can't figure it out. So
well, now there you go.
So
we got you.
I have been interested in this for a while. So I own Knack DIY Craft Studio here in Raleigh, and we're the first and only pop-in studio in Raleigh where you could just come in, craft. You don't need to make an appointment. You just come in, and we have about 30 different projects you can pick from that range from 10 minutes all the way up to 3 hours. So we do everything from like wood signs to slime to we have these cool light up signs. So pretty much anything you can think of that you've maybe seen on Pinterest or been inspired by, we do something like that here.
That's pretty cool. So I knew about like wine and design and like other, like I think there's some like ceramic ones, but I never knew about this, and I think this is the coolest concept that you can come in and do all kinds of different crafts, like not just one or two crafts. So I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, we keep adding, and we love ideas like people. So if something like this goes really well, this could make it into a regular project for us. So you always get assigned like a DIY expert that helps you through your project and things like that. So we're always looking for new ideas.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to switch us over to our hands camera. So you say goodbye to our faces. We're going to, if I can switch over after I said how easy this was. Now I can't find the right button. Okay, here we go. So here we are. So this is me on this side, and we've got Dina over here. There's her hands. So we're going to do some bead rolling, and we've got our sets of bead rollers. So we're going to start, I always say the blue bead roller is the easiest. So grab your blue bead roller, your blue handle. And this is the 1/8, and that refers to this side right here. And I always tell people numbers actually mean nothing to me.
Okay.
I'm not really good, but this is the most popular bead roller, and it's kind of I think it's the easiest one to use. So what we'll do is we'll just pick out, let's do this pink.
All right.
And I'm going to move.
That's my favorite color. Even though the shop is completely mint green, pink is my favorite color.
Pink is your favorite?
Yes. It's like
I
unique.
like pink. We'll start with this. Let me grab mine.
So how did you make this?
Okay, so I make these on my brother's Scan and Cut, or if you have like a Cricut.
We do. We have 3 Cricuts.
Oh, nice.
We cut everything by Cricut.
You need brother's Scan and Cut too. No, I think they're all good machines though.
Yeah.
Because they all take SVG files.
Yeah.
And
so that's what this is?
Yep, and I sell the SVG files on my website.
Okay.
On paperbeadrollers.com. But you can hand cut them too, just on like a, I know. On a guillotine cutter. When I got the machine, the cutting machine, it changed my life.
Yeah.
I was cutting these by hand, and my back was killing me. So these are just regular like triangles, and this is the most basic form. I think the camera's not quite big enough to show the whole thing, but they're just the most basic form of strip. And I forgot, you guys, we gotta switch back to the chat. So I see there's a few people watching. You guys pop in and say hi to me in the chat, so we know you're here. So here's what you do. So in this piece right here is a slot, and you take the wide end of your strip and you just slide it in, and it catches, and you just start to roll. And you can roll it towards you. Oh, try to catch that a little closer. You can roll it towards you. You can roll it away from you. It's totally up to you. You might have to put your finger on it like this. Sometimes pieces of paper can be temperamental, so you get the hang of it. Yeah, you got it. Yep, and then you can just roll it. And you don't want to pull it too tight, because then you'll have trouble getting it off. When I teach classes, every once in a while I forget to say that. And somebody's like, I can't get my bead off my handle because they held it a little too tight. And you can see I'm actually struggling to keep mine centered. You can move it around a little bit if you don't get it quite centered. You can have a little bit of play. And you can adjust it at the end too. So you just roll it. Try to keep it centered. And there's other techniques where you don't keep it centered, but we'll just do the basic right now. I don't know what my favorite color is. It kind of purple and blue. I probably go between purple and blue.
What if you let your whole bead go?
Yeah, it springs like that. But you can just sort of pull it tight like this and go from wherever it catches.
Yes.
Occasionally it scares me when it happens by accident.
Right.
Even now. I'll be like, whoa, Jack in the Box.
Do you know, like, people are like legit crafters, they stick their tongue out? I'm trying not to do that, because that's how you know that I'm crafting, right? So I'm trying not to be that person.
Well, luckily the camera's not on your face right
Okay,
now.
okay, so I could just be tongue out, so.
Yeah.
So mine's off-centered, is that okay?
Yeah, we can fix it at the end.
Okay.
Grab that Elmer's glue over there when you get a sec. Alright, so we're just going to use plain old white glue. You can use glue sticks, but they don't really stick very well. So I just stick with the cheapo.
We buy Elmer's glue by the gallons here because of slime.
Yes.
So
I'm going to start doing that. I had a bunch of old bottles, and I'm going to buy a gallon and just refill them, I think.
yeah.
So you just put, there you go, you got it. Tiny little bit, and just put it down and kind of smear. Yeah, yours let go, so that's why it's not tight. That's okay though. It's your first one.
It's my big bead.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like
and then, yeah.
But at least I can get it off the stick.
Exactly. And then you can kind of adjust. You can move it still at this point. See how I can even move the whole thing down. If I want a different look, I can do a little bit of a drop bead look. So you still have some play in it until you glaze it, which we're going to do after we do a few more.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Not bad.
Yeah.
One little bead down.
Yeah. All right, so that's kind of your basics. So let's do another similar shape, but we'll do maybe the smaller. Pick like the green or the red, you choose. We'll do a little bead.
Green.
Green is the smallest that we have, so I'll do red while you do green. So tell me the story of Knack. Like, how did you decide, because you weren't doing this before, like what were you doing before?
So Knack just opened in June of 2018, and prior to that, for almost 10 years, I had been in the recruiting field. My last position was the head of recruiting for a publicly held software company, so very different than the craft world. But we opened in June. It's been going fantastic for us. We just announced probably a couple weeks ago now that we are doing franchising.
Oh, that's right. So pretty much if somebody wanted to open their own Knack in their own city,
yes,
they could do that.
Yes, they could.
Wow.
So we're moving along with that. So it's just that passion for crafting, but more so like teaching and training people, which I know you love to do as well. So it's really just like showing people how to craft. You get a lot of people who walk in that are like, I can't do this, or it's too intimidating, and then they like feel so accomplished when they're done.
I bet. Well, that's why I'm constantly looking for new crafts to do, I think. Because it's like you do something for a while and you kind of master it, and either you need to innovate what you're doing, or you need to pick up something new. But if you get something new, it's super expensive,
Yes.
which is part of why I was really intrigued about your concept here of Knack, because if you come here to do a project, you don't have to go buy everything and do it at home, right? Because you
Right.
have it all here.
Right, yeah. So, and you get to make a mess here and leave it.
How about glitter?
I love glitter. This
Let's
whole
do
place
glitter.
is glitter. We're actually saying that we're building our craft studio one bottle of glitter and glue stick. One glue stick and bottle of glitter at a time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Can I use the purple?
Yes, use the purple. I like the purple. The purple is what I use when I do kind of the, I call them the Euro beads, but they're like the Pandora beads.
So is there a difference if I go away from me versus towards me?
No, there isn't. It's all personal preference.
Like what you feel comfortable with?
Mhm.
I think I like being away from me better.
And I find that it depends on the lighting too, like where the light source is in the room. Because the shadows, because when I'm trying to line it up, I go, based on where the edges are, and the shadows in the room, if my light source is on the left or the right, will change how easy it is for me to center things. So sometimes I'll go one way or the other based on where the light source is too. It's weird.
What if my glitter doesn't want to stick?
Yeah, you might have to hold it a little longer. Hold it down for a second or two. That was the doorbell,
Yes.
which is fine.
That lets us know people are here.
Yeah. Hey, I know there's a few of you watching. I can tell, but nobody's chatting. Do you guys have any questions for me or questions for Dina? We want to know.
I love questions. I actually have an event to speak at tonight, so if you ask me questions, it'll help me get prepared.
Oh, what's your event?
I'm speaking on a networking panel for women tonight at the Frontier in Research Triangle Park.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yeah, these glitter ones take, like, you have to hold it until the glue dries a little bit, because the glitter will come off with the glue. That's why there is a paper called Die Cuts for Life. No, I can't remember now. It's Die Cuts something, and it's sold. I know, like Joanne sells it, and the glitter is not actual glitter. It's kind of like a plastic paper that is molded to look like glitter.
Well, that's cool.
And I love to use that for the paper beads because it's a little smoother. It's not as thick, and it doesn't come off when you try to glue them.
So I think what intrigued me about this is obviously in our studio we only have so much space and projects have like so many pieces. So I liked this because you really just need a set of these. And then we have tons of scrap paper around here and things like that.
Yes.
So I just thought that was like a cool.
Nice. Good job. You're
Thanks.
natural.
We jinxed
The
it.
glitter paper is just, sometimes, what are those called? The little tape runners that you use for scrapbooking?
Yeah.
Sometimes with these thicker papers and the glitter paper, I'll even use those.
We do have those here somewhere.
Because I'll get frustrated with this not wanting to stay, and I'll use that instead, or double-sided tape.
Yeah. Yeah, we I went to a 6-day crafting conference and I learned all about different glues.
That is
If you can even imagine that was a whole thing.
I believe you, because when I was trying to put on like bead caps and things like that on the finished beads, I tried so many different glues. It's insane. Let's do these are like tube beads.
I'm just gonna leave this one like that.
Yeah, or barrel beads. Where's mine? Okay, I have more of those. Where's mine? There it is. So if you want to do a bead that is more like I think they call them bugle beads a lot. Like if you look in the seed bead area of Michael's or Joann's, one of those craft stores, it's they call them bugle beads. So, or barrels. I call them barrels. So these are going to make completely flat, straight tubes. So just slide it in, whatever size. These will work in any size bead roller. Just depends on how fat of a tube you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you just line them up straight. And it's okay if you can't get it, like mine's not exactly straight right now, because at the end we can straighten it up. Depending on your paper and how tight you roll, sometimes you do need to be real careful with it, or you'll get like indents in the ends, but
I have noticed in like other paper crafts that paper tends to be fairly forgiving.
it does.
We do paper flowers and things here, and tends to be a little bit more forgiving than felt or something like that.
So I'm going to post something in the chat because I see a message that says the chat is not working. Let me just make sure that if people are putting in the chat, I'm not seeing it. Okay, I just posted something in the chat. People are popping on and off. All right, there we go.
Done.
Nice.
Pretty excited about these.
Yeah, I like these. Actually, here, let me show you this exact paper. These are actually leftovers from a project. Let me show you. So this is the bracelet that I did. There's actually a tutorial out there.
Awesome.
With these beads. And then I did a necklace to match, you guys, but I never did a tutorial. I never posted a tutorial with the necklace because I'm not happy with it. But this is the necklace that matches. The reason I'm not happy with it, so basically what I did is I took two of the bracelets and put it on either side and connected it with this stone, which it looks gorgeous. The problem is when you're wearing it, it twists. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking for some type of a cage to put around this guy that's going to give me a little more stability, but I just haven't found the right thing yet. So once I find the right thing to put around this, I'm going to do a second tutorial that's going to build off of this one to make a matching necklace. So
it is beautiful.
It's a little secret there. If you're on this live, you just saw something nobody else sees. So what do you think so far? We're good?
I think I have like a bracelet almost.
Yeah, just about.
3 whole pieces.
Do you want to do some random magazine cutting?
Sure.
So I cut up all these random magazines. So this I did on the guillotine cutter, and here's why. Because magazine paper is super thin, and so cutting it on the machine is kind of difficult, and it's just faster and easier. The problem with this, though, is that they're not consistent. So I've been a little spoiled because when you cut with the machines, every strip is exactly the same, right? The exact same width. So when you do magazines, like what you're doing right there with one strip is going to give you this really thin, tiny bead. So keep going with that, and then I'll show them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search through here, and I'm going to look for strips that are close in size. So I did do it in stacks, so there will be some in here that are pretty much exact. And I'm going to find one that has really good color to be the outside, because that's the only one that's really going to show. The rest of these are going to be inside the wrap, so they can be text. You don't have to waste all these other pages.
I like the text.
Yeah, you know, you can do some really neat stuff with book pages and music.
Yeah.
And there is a person, oh, you need that glue. There is somebody locally here who does, she had gotten a bunch of old hymnals that a church was throwing away.
Oh, yeah.
And she makes jewelry out of the hymnals and puts like scripture in with her earrings and stuff. It's really neat.
I do think it's, I like the words. Like, I don't know why. I think it's just really graphic.
Yeah.
And fun. So you're going to do one bead?
Yeah, this is going to be one bead. So how many do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do more. So I'm going to try to see if I can find 9 that are similar size. So the other thing is a lot of people want to know, how do you make rounder beads? So that's a tricky thing, because getting a round bead, a round paper bead, is hard because it completely depends on several factors. It depends on the thickness of paper you're using, and it depends on the diameter of bead roller you're using. So there's not like one formula for how to get a round paper bead, but what I have found through my experimentation is that layering is one of the best ways. So putting a bunch of strips stacked like this and then rolling it is going to get you closer to a rounded shape than doing anything else. So if you're using a thicker cardstock, like a 110 or a 65-pound cardstock, 2 strips is going to get you closer to a rounded bead. But if you're using something super thin like this, you're going to need more like 6 to 9 strips to get a round bead.
Try your bead method.
And this, so see what I'm doing? I'm going to put my finger right there because this is going to pop out if I'm not careful. So I'm going to kind of hold it in until I capture it. There we go.
How did you get started paper bead rolling?
I'm cheap. And I saw some gorgeous paper bead jewelry in a boutique downtown, and it was like, I don't know, $80. And it was really pretty, but I just don't have $80 or didn't at the time, I really still don't have $80 to spend on a necklace unless it's like, got diamonds on it or something and it's for an anniversary.
Right.
So as most crafters do, you see something you like that you can't afford and you're like, well, maybe I could make it, right? So I started, and when I looked up most of what I could do, now this was probably 3 or 4 years ago, there weren't a lot of bead rollers on the market. I mean, there were a few. I just let go of that. There were a few, but so I started using like bamboo skewers to roll and toothpicks, and I have arthritis in my pinky on my right hand, and it was killing me. It was so hard to do. So my husband was like, oh, we could do this. I can make you something. So he made me, I still have the very first bead roller he ever made me. And so we did it. We had a couple different designs. I was like, well, we need to make the handle thicker because of my arthritis. We need to put grooves in it so I can grip it better. And eventually we came up with what you see here. And
so you design these?
Yeah, and I'm not the first one. Like there's maybe 2 or 3 other sellers out there that sell something similar to this. But
oh, I had no idea. I thought you bought these.
No, we make them out of our house.
What?
Out of our studio at our house. Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yep, we make them.
You just blew my mind. I was like, she's got some vendor somewhere that sells her these.
No, we buy the pieces and put them together and drill them and varnish them and paint them and all that stuff. So look at my round bead.
It's perfect.
Yay.
I have like a baby version.
Yeah, I probably need more strips on that one.
But look at how big it is compared to this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is perfect, yes.
It is. So, and then you can, if you don't like the way, so I think that traditional paper beads are made out of like magazine papers, and so they've got like no two are the same, and they've got the interesting little striations in them and the colors that come from it. But if you don't like that look, but you still want to use magazine paper because you've got magazines that you don't want to waste, you want to help the environment, you can paint these.
Oh.
So you could just take regular acrylic paints or even craft paint and dip them or brush paint them.
Interesting. Well, we have 50 different paint colors here at Knack, so
there you go.
We have no shortage of paint.
I like using metallics.
Ooh, fun.
On those. Yeah. And then here's one that I painted prior. So I painted this paper prior to cutting it.
Oh.
I just did a dry brush technique on it.
Neat.
And then I oh, bless you.
Bless you. That's our studio audience.
Here, let's try something more unique. You ready for a challenge?
Oh no.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Well, thanks. This looks too complicated.
Nah, you can do it. We're gonna do the blue because blue I think is always the easiest size.
I was thinking that this is purple.
No,
but no, yep, I'm picking up now.
Okay.
But I think it's easier to go away from me.
Go away from you. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works. Okay. So we're gonna start rolling. And we're going to get up to the split. And I don't think I've done a tutorial on this shape yet. So you can try to do both of these at the same time, or if you want, you can just go one and then let the other piece, it's going to hit you, unfortunately, let the other piece just flip. And you can decide how you want to roll this. You can roll it so that the edge stays in one place. That's how I'm going to roll it. I think that's how this bead looks best. So this outside edge is going to stay lined up straight right here. And so it's going to create like a V on the inside of the bead. And again, you'll have play in it. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. We can fix it afterwards. Mine is not perfect. Mine's kind of messy, actually. Ready for glue?
Thanks. I feel like my hands are always covered in like glue or paint, like such the life of a crafter.
And look, you can see like I usually try to keep baby wipes. I didn't grab mine, but I'll keep baby wipes around to keep the glue off because otherwise it'll stick to the beads and you'll get like hairy beads.
We buy baby wipes by the 800s now, so we just discovered that baby wipes are literally the greatest thing in the entire universe.
They really are. And then you can do the other side and keep that one straight.
This might be my favorite bead.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
One, because I feel like you're getting 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, totally. This is called a corset.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. hips and chest.
Look at that.
Yep. And then so you can adjust it. So you can either, like if you centered it up, it's going to look one way, or if you lined it up on the side, it's going to look totally different.
I don't know which way I did, but I like it.
Centered, I think. Yeah, yours is centered at mine. I'll make sure mine's lined up on the side so that we can see the difference. Just have to adjust a little bit.
Yours looks like an hourglass.
Yeah. Yeah, so mine's more of an hourglass shape, and yours is more like a, I don't know, like a rounded double bead. So yeah, pretty cool.
I like it.
Yep, and there's also one, I didn't bring any, but there's a triple one too that creates a hump in the middle, a smaller hump in the middle, and then two on the side. That's a bow tie bead. I have a tutorial on that one. Oh, oh no, that's good. I thought we froze. I don't know where my chatting people are. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat. If anybody's putting anything in the chat, it is not coming through to us. I am so sorry. I do have a weird message that it was disconnected, but I think it came back on. So I apologize if you are chatting and I cannot see you.
I like my little collection here.
I know, you're getting a nice little collection there. That's awesome. All right, let's see. I'm trying to think if I have any more cool ones. So one thing we could do, which we don't have to actually do it, but I did bring a stencil. So this is for the Euro bead. Here it is. So this is the slim Euro bead. So it's kind of like a Pandora. You can't really call it that because it's like copyrighted.
Right.
But
the Pandora police will come after you.
I know, right? So we call it the Euro bead. But this is the slim version, and this is a template. So I do have SVGs for this, but I also have these stencils where you can draw it out on paper and cut it out. And then these are the ones that you can put the grommets in the side. So this is done with the purple. Where's the purple? Do you have your purple? Yep, so that's the purple handled. It creates one this size that a 4mm grommet goes in. And then, very similar to that, this is the wide Euro bead, the polka dot ones. I know, right? I love the wide ones.
I like this whole bracelet.
Yeah, and then this is done with the brand new size, which is not even out yet. This right here in my hand is actually the only one in existence at the moment. We are manufacturing them as I speak. It's the peach color or orange color, and it is super huge because it had to be to go over the snake chain. You know how big snake chain is?
No.
4.8 millimeters. You know when I found that out?
When your bead didn't fit.
When my bead didn't fit. When I used my purple bead roller to make beads and do this particular project, and I couldn't get the bead on, and I went,
love this bracelet.
I'm gonna make a new bead roller. Yeah, so we're adding this, and these are being produced right now, and people can pre-order them right now for 15% off on paperbeadrollers.com. So if you're interested in doing snake chain bracelets with your Euro beads, and you order these now, you can get a nice discount, which makes them like $13. These are a little bit pricier than the other bead rollers because they're the materials are a little more expensive and they're a little harder to make. But yeah, so these will ship on Tuesday, the 6th, a week from today.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that's my Mother's Day bracelet. This charm too, actually I'm wearing the shirt that matches this charm. It says crafty moms make handmade happiness. I made that saying.
I love it.
So you can order that charm too. There's a link in the tutorial for that charm. And these things are really cool. So I got these off of Amazon. I don't sell these myself. But this is a diffuser charm. There's a little puffball in there, and you put essential oil on it.
That's crazy. We have an essential oil bracelet here, so I love the idea of something like that, like where you can have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many benefits for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like this.
Yeah. So tell us about your franchising. I want to hear about franchising.
Franchising. Well, it's an interesting journey. There's a lot of legalities and things you have to go through and make sure that you kind of know what you're doing. And but yeah, I mean, it's just been going really well for us, and we're just excited to do it. This is going to be like, our franchise are going to be people who have like a passion and love for like all things DIY. Not necessarily that you have to be like the world's best crafter or the world's best artist. We train everybody and teach get everyone taught on all the different projects we do and stuff. But it's just a great opportunity where if you love people, so our customers, like I said, they can be in here anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours. So our customers, we really get to know them. We've become friends with them. Lots of community connections. We do a ton with like fundraising for schools, and so really anything we can do in the community. So that's like almost critical for somebody who's interested in having one of these. And huge on customer service here. Like that's our thing. So
it's pretty much all what it is. I mean, it's providing those materials, but then it's like it's all about interacting with people.
Right. And we don't want anyone to ever feel like embarrassed because they can't figure something out or anything like that. Like we're here to support and get people, you know, engaged in DIY. We always get somebody that walks in that's like being dragged here by a friend who's crafty, and they're like, I can't do this, I'm not crafty, and then they're so proud of themselves when they leave because they're like, I can't believe I made this.
So it's like anybody who wants to start it's somebody who wants to start their own business.
Yep, but they don't want like the hassle of like having to figure it all out.
And so they would come and they would become a franchisee. So like if you had, you know, I don't know, what is it, like millions of dollars to open a McDonald's?
Yes.
But you don't have to have millions.
You don't have to have McDonald's millions to open up a Knack DIY. No, the nice thing is like there's so many people out there that are creative and things like that, but we've kind of taken all the guesswork out, and we've had our own successes and failures that you can eliminate, so that you can, you know, kind of skip all of that. We figured out the systems, we figured out the processes, we've, you know, just come up with all the ideas and stuff. And we help you with the marketing. So pretty much it's like you're your own business owner, but you have like a team of people supporting you.
That's pretty cool.
I like this one in the grass.
I know, that's kind of neat. Oh, and it's not slanted, so it'll make like a tube bead. Somehow it didn't get slanted.
Well, let's see what
when
it
I
does.
cut it.
Yeah, so really, I mean, if somebody has that love and passion for that kind of stuff, this would be the perfect opportunity for them.
And they go to your website to get information if they want to do that.
Yep, so we are about 20 days or so out from legally being able to sell our franchise. You have to fill out all these documents and things like that, and so we're just wrapping those up, and then once we have those filled out, people can legally have a Knack DIY franchise, or go through the process. And then right now, though, we have a wait list where people can join so that if there's something in their town, they could be the first ones to put on the wait list.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching the replay of this, it is the end of April 2019. So 20 days out would be sort of end of May.
End of
2019.
May. Yep.
So if you're watching this replay, that'll give you some time frame.
Yes. Exactly.
Check out this one.
I love that.
Yeah. So that is a tutorial. This is one of the first projects I ever did when I started paper beading. Because I was obsessed with these flowers. I made tons of them and I sold them at a craft show.
What do people do with? Oh, as a pendant.
Mostly as a pendant. I also made some keychains.
You could put a charm, like a necklace, and have it be just like a nice focal piece on a necklace, like a skinny silver,
like this little silver
chain. Yeah.
I did like an invisible necklace, like kind of thing, on it. So that was that. And then here's another one. This was more recent.
Love that.
The memory wire bracelet. That was my first memory wire bracelet.
I love it. I like the mixture of like the beads, like the paper beads with other beads, you know?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I've seen them sometimes where it's like all paper beads, and I just feel like it gets a little much.
Yeah, I don't know the right words to use for that either. Like, I feel the same way, and that's where I started trying to, like, reinvent how you use paper beads. That's kind of my goal, I think, with my channel, my YouTube channel, is, like, how can you take, like, a very old traditional craft like paper beading and something that is a lot of times known as a kid's craft,
right, and
grow it up and make it where it's fashionable. It's something you can wear. You see it on the runway. You see it, you know, in the stores. But you can also make it yourself for pennies.
Right.
You know, how do you do that? And that's where I'm trying to go with it. Like,
so this is good. Like Mother's Day's coming up, And when Christmas season comes and all that kind of stuff, I mean, this is a great thing for someone. One, because you could do it, like you said, for pennies, but then also it's great because you made it. People love handmade things.
Yeah. Yep. And there's another one. This is that's a pretty simple one too.
It just looks so sophisticated.
Right? And you would never know it's paper. I mean,
right.
Until you tell people. And then it's a conversation starter.
Right.
So you're networking, you know, you're feeling awkward in a room and somebody compliments your necklace. Because what do we do when we are trying to start a conversation with somebody? We compliment their shoes or their necklace. And then you can say, oh, it's paper and I made it myself. And then it starts a whole conversation.
Yes. Because they won't believe you at first.
No. And then they'll have to touch it. Trust me. They'll have to touch it.
Yeah.
I constantly am taking off my jewelry for people to play with. So, yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah. I like the colors that you've been using.
Yeah, I like to use the cardstock that's already colored because it saves me a step from painting. But painting is just as good, honestly. It's just as bright. And then you can mix your own colors. You don't have to go purchase something.
Right. Look at all of our beads.
Yay. Well, you did awesome.
Thanks.
I think you've mastered this.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I see we have people on, and I'm not sure if you can pop something in the chat. Just say hello in the chat for me if you're on. I'm not sure if the chat is just not working. So this is probably the first live I've had where I haven't had anybody popping into the chat with me.
Now, are we going to learn how to glaze these bad boys?
Yes, let's glaze them because I think our time is almost up. So, let's see. We're going to need...
It's kind of relaxing, though.
Isn't it? I told you. Did I tell you it was like soothing?
I could just like sit in front of the TV and just roll 1,000 of these little beads.
Well, I rolled like several hundred beads on the way to and from DC this past weekend.
Oh, really?
I have a big project tutorial coming up where I needed hundreds of tiny little beads, and I did them in the car.
You know, that is a good point. This is easy to pack. I mean, I don't know if you can get these through airport security, but if you're driving somewhere, this would be easy to pack. Or like sometimes when I travel for work, I get to my hotel room because I'm by myself, and I get to my hotel room and I don't want to just watch TV or something like that, and I don't, you know, maybe I already went to dinner or something like that, and I'm trying to figure out like something to do. This would be like 1 gallon size Ziploc bag and you'd be like good to go.
Exactly. Hand me that bottle right there. Yep, and the little sticker things right there. Those. I couldn't think of the word. Skewers. Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll take, you could take baby wipes, but I take paper towels and let them down and put them in a Ziploc to keep, so I can wipe my fingers while I'm in the car. All right, so we're going to use diamond glaze. Oops, this way, I think. And if you've been around on my channel, you know that I'm currently working on a series where I'm testing out glazes to see which ones work best, or even not even best, because I think there's a lot of good glazes out there, but what are the properties and features? You know, which ones are shiniest, which ones are hardest, which ones are easiest to apply. So there's another episode of that coming up soon, but this so far is my favorite. It's the one I've always used. So we're just going to dip a little bit of diamond glaze into our tray.
Is there like a matte one if you wanted a matte look, or is it always gloss?
You can get matte looks. Go ahead and grab a brush. You can get matte looks. Shiny I think looks better, but you never know. So go ahead and grab some beads, and I have 2 sizes of skewers because we use some pretty tiny ones. You might need to use a bigger one. Slide this down. So you can usually, if you did the larger beads, you can get the larger ones down and then put the smaller ones on the end. Sometimes for the really tiny ones, you'll need toothpicks or just sticking them on the end. Like this one, you need to go on the end. Yeah.
Apparently I rolled my beads all really, really tight.
That's okay. You can just do a couple. Or you can grab, that one might work if you want to grab that one.
All right, I'll cheat.
Watch, it won't work. There you go.
All right, I'll have my 3 little ones right here. Okay.
And then all you need to do is just brush on. And the only thing to really worry about here is keep getting it smooth and then not gluing your bead to the skewer. So try to make sure not to get the glaze like on the wood.
How many beads have you glued to the skewer?
When I first started, a lot. And the worst one is when you glue it to the skewer and you go to pull the bead off and the whole bead unravels, because like just the one end is stuck to the skewer and the whole thing unravels in your hand.
Do you cry?
I did.
Yeah.
I crying.
Because it was like, isn't that like the case where it's like always your most perfect bead?
I know. Yeah.
Could you use too much glaze?
Yeah, I think putting on too much at once, I don't like the way it looks. I would rather do 2 thinner coats. And I normally do 2 coats for most things. Now, if I need it to be more durable, like I once made a purse.
What?
I did 6 coats on those beads. Yeah.
How did you make a purse?
Actually, if I did a live last night and I showed everybody my purse for the first time on that.
What?
I made it like 2 years ago. And they want a tutorial, but I'm like, okay, this is like a really heavy duty project, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do a tutorial on that. Yeah, I made.
I guess you could break it into like a series.
Yeah.
Like the purse series. I mean, you could probably come up with something more clever than that. But.
That could work. Yeah, I made a whole purse. I sewed a lining for the inside and did beads on the outside.
That is insane.
It was.
I need you to send me a picture of this purse.
It's heavy and and it was expensive. It's like $50 worth of materials, I think.
Was it all paper?
No, I had paper. I had string. I had wire. I had some beads. Like
okay, I definitely need to see this now.
Yeah, and then the cloth lining on the inside, which I sewed, and it even had a little pocket on the inside, and it zipped. It had a zipper on the top of the pouch.
How long did it take you?
It didn't take that long, but I was pretty obsessed. You know how you get obsessed with something, you don't sleep.
Yeah, it's called Knack DIY.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
When I write my book, it's going to be called I Built My Business at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that's when all my ideas come to me.
You are not kidding.
So I keep like a little notebook by the side of my bed so I can write down things. And then
so good.
I feel so bad for my staff the next morning because I come in and I was like, let's do this project. And they're like, all right, we need to dial you back, lady.
At least you don't text them at 3 a.m.
No, I should though.
Oh!
We should start that. Be
They're
like,
gonna
I'm
kill
so
me.
excited about this.
They're gonna be like, that
project."
Kelly girl cannot come back. She is a bad influence.
I got kind of like a rogue bead over here.
Oh yeah, see it's spinning because it's a little too big.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I'll just put my fingernail on it, or just then I get a little goopy. And then when you get a whole skewer full, I have this block that I got. You can get these at like the dollar store real cheap, and I just stick my skewer into it. And then, the good thing about diamond glaze is it only takes like 5 minutes to dry.
Nice.
Unless it's really humid. So you can go ahead and do the second coat in just a few minutes. And these will ruin your brushes if you don't wash them out with water pretty quick, too. So
it's kind of like the glaze of Mod Podge, it sounds like. Like Mod Podge dries super quick. Mod Podge.
Yes, it will. It will kill you. So I'm gonna flip us back, I think, to the face cam because I think we're about done. I think our chat has to be broken because there are people watching, and it's not picking up.
Maybe they can send their chat later.
Yes, maybe it will show up when the stream is done. I don't know. Sorry, guys. If you're trying to talk to us, sorry about that.
These look like very beautiful weapons.
I know. Look, you can see them in front of us. Da, da, da.
We worked hard.
Yeah. I wish there was a way. I wonder if I can show them Knack real quick. Maybe I can use. Let me see if I can get. Whoops! I just dropped the camera. Let me see if I can get the camera turned around here, and I'm gonna to show you the store because it's really pretty in here. All right. Ah, there we go. So I'm a little shaky.
There's our studio audience.
Yes. Hey, wave.
If you come into Knack, she's a fixture here.
Oh, there's my purse sitting all over the table over there. But yeah, so this is it. So you can come in and browse around. There's all this beautiful stuff. And there's your apron. And pick your project and get on your table.
We literally have everything you need, like down to the hardware. So whatever you think of.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Thanks.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. And you can actually own this shirt as of today.
Ooh.
Up to today.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh, it's got glitter.
Of course it does. But this is iron-on glitter, so it doesn't, like, glitter.
Come off.
Yeah.
Like in the wash and stuff like that. Nice. You can own this shirt, too.
Oh, awesome. We should do a shirt swap.
Ooh, crafty moms make handmade happiness.
I love it.
Yeah. And have you guys seen the mug? It says, all I need is cardstock and coffee.
I love it.
Because this is coffee, crafts and coffee, So.
This is my mug.
Did you make that?
Yes, it's with alcohol ink. Maybe you could come learn alcohol.
I might need to because I've seen a bunch of stuff on Alcoholic and I've never done it.
So we have these and tumblers and coasters, and we actually got to meet Tim Holtz, the guy who created it, and so I got to take a little class with him in my little 6-day crafting conference. So yeah, this is my water mug.
How's he doing? Because he was sick.
He's great. He looks
good.
great. I have a funny confession. So I was standing there in his like studio audience, and I had my tumbler, and it was completely empty of water. I had run out, but I wanted him to see it, so I kept going like this. But there was nothing in it because I was trying to get him to see that I had used his products, and he signed it. I have a signed Tim Holtz. It's sitting right there.
I see it.
Tumbler, and there was literally nothing in there, but I was like, I'm sure gonna keep drinking it like there is. And
Tim,
so
look at me.
and he
That's
very
hilarious.
politely signed it for me.
I've heard he's a really nice guy. I've never met
He's,
him, but
like super crazy nice, and he's, I mean, very down to earth and very talented. So
nice.
yes.
Nice.
So mine's not as cool as yours, but it's colorful.
I think yours is pretty darn
I
cool.
don't know. We can add some alcohol to that.
We could, definitely. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with me
Thank you for
today.
coming all the way over to Raleigh.
Yeah, North Raleigh. It was it's
adventure.
not bad though. It's all good. So guys, if you have questions for us, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't know if the chat was just malfunctioning or what was going on with that, but once this live ends and gets processed, you will be able to add comments underneath. So pop your comments in there. Dina and I will be on for maybe like the next 24 hours or so to respond to you. If you have any questions for us, if you're interested in being a franchiser of Knack, or you live in the area and you just want to come do one of these cool crafts.
Yeah, we
Come
might
on
have bead
over.
rolling one day.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
quick, and I like it.
Yes, and it uses up all the extra paper that is left over from the
Yes.
other projects.
We have boxes of it.
Oh, I might have to go
Yeah.
through your stash and steal some.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. It's great to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.